Donny Cates wrote Venom from 2018 until 2021, and throughout his run, he made Venom more than an edgy 90s version of Spider-Man. He built a mythology around everyone's favorite lethal protector. He gave the Clintar a history, linked them to the Asgardians and the almighty Celestials, and he gave Venom a god, Knull. So join me as we take a look at the history of the living abyss, the King in Black, Knull. Knull was old. He resided in the darkness that existed between the 6th and 7th cosmos. Fun fact, Galactus was born from the destruction of the 6th cosmos, when one day the Celestials broke through the darkness and brought light with them. They felt this universe was incomplete and set about pushing back the boundaries of Knull's kingdom. Knull used a shadow patch on a Celestial's hand to create a sword, and used it to decapitate the space god. For this crime, Knull was banished to the Void. Little did the Celestials know that this was where Knull wanted to be. He turned the head of the fallen Celestial, which would later become Nowhere, into a forge. He used celestial fire to heat the proto-symbiote and shaped it with a celestial hammer. These things are the origin of the Clintar's weakness to both fire and sound. This symbiote would become known as the All-Black, the Necrosword, the Godslayer. Knull would then forge a symbiote suit of armor and, wielding the All-Black, set out on a crusade to cut back the bright and cloak the universe in darkness once more. Countless planets fell to Knull and his Necrosword, until he fell in battle against a warrior clad in gold. After they crashed to the planet below them, Knull's weapon was taken from him. The one who took the All-Black, the Void King's firstborn, was Gore, who would go on to become Gore the God Butcher. Knull lay in that crater for years, maybe 100 according to old Paleface himself, until he felt a hunger and he began to bond with the planet's fauna. He drew strength from bonding with these creatures and added their knowledge to his own. Knull would also conduct experiments using his ability to create life from darkness and create shadow-like proto-symbiotes such as Mr. E. Experiments he deemed a failure would go on to evolve into the Exolon. But don't worry, I'll be covering all those in another video. Eventually, he would transform this once desolate planet to a living planet composed of symbiotes, to which he became the god host after forming a hive mind. A time-displaced Silver Surfer would run afoul of the Lord of the Abyss, and briefly became one of his Void Knights until he was freed by Ego, the living planet. Knull would send his children across the galaxy, watching through their eyes as they added to his army and spread his darkness further and further, dimming the light more and more with every planet that fell. But then 2 of Knull's children came to Earth in the 6th century. One black and one red. These dragons would be named Grendel and Grendel's mother in the stories that would be told about them. The humans were crying out for Beowulf to save them, but it was Thor who answered their prayers. The Thunder God blasted the beasts with divine lightning, which severed Knull's connection to the vast majority of the symbiotes he had created. Free of their evil creator's malevolent influence, the symbiotes began to think for themselves, and those who had bonded to honorable, noble hosts rebelled against him. The symbiotes imprisoned Knull within the heart of their throne world, and this is when the symbiotes named their home Clintar, meaning cage. This would also become the name of the symbiote species. The Clintar who rose up against Knull would go on to form the peacekeeping organization known as the Agents of the Cosmos, in an effort to atone for the horrible things they had done in Knull's name. Knull would be imprisoned for centuries until Carnage, now on a divine mission to free his god from captivity, set him free. The Elder God set his sights on Earth, and well buddies, that is a story for another video. The events of King in Black. The creation of Knull allowed Venom to step out of Spider-Man's shadow. When Flash was Agent Venom, it allowed the character to go out on his own. He had his own rogues gallery with villains he had personal ties to or who had caused him serious pain, emotionally speaking. But Eddie seemed eternally tied to Spidey. Any of his original villains were usually gone after one or a handful of appearances, and his other enemies were either heroes or Carnage. Knull, however, has no ties to Spider-Man. This is Venom's god. The symbol on Venom's chest turned out to be a dragon, just like on Knull's armor, and not a spider. And that was a look at the origin of Knull. Venom and the Clintar have achieved a level of status like such alien races as the Skrulls and the Shi'ar by having a god of their very own. Knull may be defeated for now, but will his return hurt this legend or add to it? A variant of his was already made to look like a chump in Death of the Venomverse. Let's hope the 616 version doesn't go the same way. I've been Rambling Rob, you've been fantastic, and I'll see you soon.